and I hope you can hear me clearly. And let's begin. So, we have a very interesting conjunction that is going to take place in Karak or Cancer. Alright, this is sidereal astrology or Vedic astrology. So, this is the Shukra Gochar is Mars is already in Karaka and Mars is Nicha Bhang. What is Nicha Bhang? A planet in its fall position is Nicha Bhang. Okay. Say Mars is exalted in Capricorn and is in fall position in Cancer. So Mangal is Nicha Bhang in Cancer. Alright. So this is, he's already there in Karak Rashi in Cancer, sidereal Cancer. And Venus Gochar is happening on the 30th of May. Hello. On the 30th of May, that we have Venus Gochar. Now let us try and understand Venus or Shukra. First thing in Vedic astrology that you have to understand is that Shukracharya is the guru of the Asuras. Shukracharya has Sanjeevani Vidya. What is Sanjeevani Vidya? The power of resurrection. So Shukra Devata is responsible for all of the finer things in life, because if you look at Venus, when Venus is traveling through the skies, she makes a 5-pointed star. And this 5-pointed star represents our 5 senses as well as the Panchatattva. What is the Panchatattva? Air, fire, water, earth, ether or Akash. Now with the Panchatattva, every single thing that we see that is manifested and that is not manifested is comprised of the Panchatattva. Our 5 fingers, when we join them together in Shukri Mudra, what I teach you guys, this is bringing together or the harmonious flow of Panchatattva. Now we also know in Ayurveda when we have Pitta dosha, Kapha dosha, Vata dosha, this also happens due to imbalance of Panchatattva. Now on a more mundane level, Venus represents the 5 senses. What we eat, what we see, what we touch, what we smell, all of these 5 senses that we work with, Venus has a lot to do with that. Now not only the 5 senses, there are many infinite senses actually, but 6th sense is ESP. It is, the 6th sense deals with extrasensory perception, deals with the spirit world. And what Vidya does Shukra possess? Sanjeevani Vidya. That means resurrection from the spirit world and bringing it into manifestation. Venus also represents pujas. Venus represents the way we dress, the songs we like, the people we are attracted to. For men, Venus symbolizes the females he will be attracted to. For a female, it will signify the kind of lover she will be. It's interesting to note that Venus and the moon or Chandrama or Soma, they are responsible for lover and wife. And yet if you see, the moon and the Venus are not really good friends. Alright? So there is an inherent contradiction between what we desire and what is good for us emotionally. Just this archetype, the way the ancients have explained it by planetary friendships, gives you an idea as to how what we desire and what we land up with, or what really actually is healthy for our emotional life, can be in contradiction. So when we see this especially prominent when there is a Moon-Venus conjunction, alright. So we see that when Venus is going into hostile territory, or karak. Karak is Cancer, the fourth sign, the fourth natural sign of the zodiac. And it deals with very deep things like our family, our roots, our connections, our mother, things like that. You handle things like that, alright? So, it's a time of family for sure, and pleasurable experiences for certain people. And I'll get into that. Pleasurable for whom, which signs, and why. And problematic for which signs and why. But there are inherent things that we need to understand about how the macro and the micro world interact. As above, so below. The Brahmand is in the Pindand, or the physical body. So we immediately see that the dance of the planets, it awakens energies or urja within us. Alright, it transmutes the old and brings in something new. And like I said, that it's not necessary that a Nicha Bhang planet is always going to be hostile, because there are higher and lower vibrations to all planetary energies and how they work. It's all about developing a connection with the planets. Now, as Venus is moving into Cancer, the Sun is in Taurus. Now, Venus is a huge signifier for relationships, right? And Sun and Venus are not friends. So, Venus is moving into hostile territory, and she's got a malefic planet, the Sun, sitting in one of her signs. And anytime Venus is involved, it speaks of love, romance, relationships, interpersonal relationships, right? Money, food, luxury. So, this is a malefic in one of her signs. And she's feeling the heat. Mool Trikona, or office of Shukra, is Libra. Exaltation of Venus is again in hostile territory in Pisces. So that's also a very interesting way to see why Venus is exalted in Pisces. Alright. Now we see that this malefic planet, which turns out to be malefic for Taurus as well, is creating turmoil with relationships, with finances, right? And we see that in India we had demonetization happen again, albeit in a small scale, with the 2000 rupee notes being taken out of circulation. I had predicted that there will be huge upheavals with the market right now. So, this is something that we are dealing with as a real situation, how the archetypes, how they manifest into the world, and how they become real people, how they become real things, tragedy or enjoyable. It's all the dance of planets and the planetary rays that we get. Okay, that is why it's tantamount to our well-being to receive the correct planetary rays. Okay, and not only to receive, but to also give back, to also help the planet. As ridiculous as it sounds, we are like cells in the greater cosmic body of Kalpurush. So if even one cell in our body becomes rebellious, it can cause diseases like cancer. So if every single cell living in the body of Kalpurusha decides to function, a cell being human beings, other species, other extraterrestrial beings, other multiverses. I mean, maybe not multiverses, because that would be another Kalpurush, but the Kalpurush of our world. Okay, we are all like cells in the body of the Kalpurush. So as we can, as we need the Kalpurush to give us the rays and the correct energy flow, it's also our responsibility to give back. So Kalpurush may also receive us as being functional, optimized, healthy, Then can we move towards the upward spiral that is ever happening. So here we have money situations complicated. If you're looking to, buy something, now may not be the best time to make big purchases or, make huge changes to the way you look. May not be a good idea. It's a time to sit back, if anything. Alright, so we've got this Moon and Venus dynamics at play. Right, their hostility towards each other, their complications with each other. So although the Moon is neutral to Venus, right, but Venus considers Moon to be the enemy, and there's a lot of mythology about Shukracharya, Chandra, and that will just prolong the video, so we'll get straight to the astrology here. Now, when we have a conjunction with Neech Mangal and Venus, one word for this would be turmoil and dissatisfaction. Those are two words, but turmoil and dissatisfaction. So, we just will not be happy with anything, not with the happy with the food, if somebody cooks it for us, not happy with the haircut, not happy with the things we go out and buy. Like I said, not a good time to make big purchases. Alright, it's a good time to save some money if possible. Okay. And Guru Chandal is pushing us towards spending, depending upon the house of course and other situations. But there's a thing with Aries and its spontaneity is that we also tend to spend money like that. We voraciously tend to spend money. So be very careful of that impulse right now. And what I see happening right now is another wave of disintegration of family and familial love and the bonds that we create with our family. It's a time when we will feel extra upset that, if something happened in the past, or if we feel like we've been wronged, or if they feel like they've been wronged by us. And then they can take it to heart and they can react this way. The things can come to the surface suddenly, The Venus tends to sweeten things, but Mars is like cutting, scarring, bruising, alright, fire. So they are inherently incompatible. That's something to think about. They're inherently incompatible. Also, their dynamics can be exemplified in the way the signs are opposite one another. Like Aries opposition is Venus's sign, Libra. Right? And we see how afflicted Venus can be in Scorpio. So this is something to think about. Of course, then Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is again the opposite sign of Scorpio. So by these planets ruling the opposite signs and signifying things that are so different, but it's not always necessary that people who are similar will get along. Oftentimes we see that people who have diverse range of interests can get together, even though they may not be from the same country or speak the same language. But there is a thing that can bring people together, even if they are polar opposites. And this is something that is the high vibration of this conjunction that is about to happen. And I hope that a lot of us can tune into the high vibration. Now, if you'll notice in life, that if your friend is going through a very bad experience, it's not necessary at that same point you're going through a very bad experience. In fact, when you look at your friend having that experience, sometimes things hit home. Although you are not going through that, right? So you are tuning into a different frequency, whereas your friend is tuning into a different frequency. When the world is in turmoil, you could be, experiencing a period of growth, period of development. Why is this? It's because we are tuning into a different frequency. Everybody cannot tune into the same frequency. Like everybody has a different frequency. If you send 5 people out in one city, okay, and you give them the same time that, okay, you guys start seeing the city at 6 in the morning, and you put them in different areas of the city. So these people, they go out and they experience the whole city and they come back. I'll tell you, each and every person that you sent out has had a different experience. Now, to spice things up, put these 5 people in the same city, in the same location, but at different times. Again, you will see that every single individual has had a different experience. Now, pair them up, right, and send them out. Even then, within the pair, you will see that they've had totally different experiences. And this is because we are so different. When we manifest, we are fractals of the same thing, but when we manifest, the way we experience the world through our 5 senses is so very different and unique, like our fingerprints, like our footprints. Absolutely unique, like a snowflake. Like when we look at the snowflakes, it's like every snowflake is the same. But when you photograph them under a microscope, you see that each snowflake is unique. So this is how we are. We are like those snowflakes, all one, but if you look at us, we are so very unique. This is why we tend to experience things so differently. It's not necessary that a difficult astrological time is going to give you only difficult results, or something like if you're born with many good yogas, Sunofa Yoga, Raja Yoga, Kesari Yoga, you may not be what was predicted in your Kundali. You may not be that. That again entirely depends upon how you tune into these frequencies. So how we tune into the frequency, Venus is very, very important in that equation. Through our 5 senses and that ESP that I told you, Sanjeevani Vidya, going beyond the terrestrial. Most people think Venus is terrestrial, but Venus is the master. Shukracharya is the master of Sanjeevani Vidya. So his transmutations, it's from all different kinds of frequencies. Ethereal, surreal, otherworldly, worldly, swamped with materialism. Doing puja only to get money, or doing puja to hurt someone. But that puja, Venus signifies that puja. Are you asuric vritti? Are you asuric? That you are going to use that and do bad things? Or are you going to learn that and do good things? That entirely depends upon the frequency you are tuning into. And can you change that frequency? Yes. That's why we do mantras. Because when you start pronouncing the mantras and you have received Gurumukhi teachings, you immediately start channeling the ojas or the urja, which is your energy, in a different way. With the pronunciation of mantras, the urja starts to move towards the sahasrar. And that's why we can see a shift, a change in the way we think, in the way we feel. If you're extremely tensed and nervous, just find the right mantra, and for that you need someone who's already well versed in this, because the spiritual world is uncharted territory. And why would you want to go into uncharted territory without a GPS? It makes no sense. So finding the person with whom you can learn is the smartest thing you can do. So this is the thing of what you're tuning in with your five senses. Eat correctly right now. Mars and Venus together, acidity, dyspepsia, bad smell from the mouth, headaches, migraines, very bad migraines. And there's already a heat wave going through so many countries. So afflicted people will experience head related, also problems with sex organs, because both of them in a way rule the sex organs. So for men, hernia. For women, look after your uterus, especially if you're going through perimenopause or menopause, or if you're looking to get pregnant, or if you're already pregnant and you are holding a baby. So fetus health, in vitro health is going to be very, very important, because at this time miscarriages can happen. Many people may experience miscarriages, and if they become aware and if they take the necessary precautions, then they will save themselves. So this is important. Now, family relationships are going to experience a breakdown, like I said, so be very careful as to how you interact with your family. What you say, how you say it. If you feel old resentment churning through your system, let it go. Think before you speak. Is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it going to change the situation in any way? If it is just to be confrontational, then don't do it. Let Mangal move out of Karak and move into Leo or Simha Rashi. Then you will see that once he goes into the place of his friend, like, when you go to meet your friend and you've had like a hard time, it's like that. So let Mangal come out of Karak and move into Leo, to have that conversation, to talk it out with whoever you need to, and even then be diplomatic, because we will experience a breakdown of family relationships. We are here for a really short time. So if there's anyone you need to apologize to, apologize. If there's anyone you need to forgive, forgive. For time does not come back. It really doesn't. So make sure to give that extra energy to your family. Call your mom, call your dad. Just say hello or email or like your sisters or brothers' Facebook posts. Just simple things like that. Whatever resentments are there, you can work through that. You can release that slowly but surely as you progress. Now, the toxicity that is welling up for our mothers, because cancer has to do with our mothers, with our grandmothers, with maybe us finally coming face to face with the fact that we are smothering instead of mothering. So the correct balance, again, when everything goes into turmoil, you have to stand still, and you have to successfully escape the eye of the storm. You must remain absolutely still. Stillness and silence are two things that will help you from being, showing a volatile display of rage, or just, taking it out on your mother, just letting her have it. There's no need for that right now. Your mom has her own things. However bad it is. If you keep on harboring resentment, it will cost you. You are going to lose out in the end, because you are holding on to toxic things and you're not allowing blessings and newness to come into your life. So at the end of it, you will have yourself to blame. No matter what has happened with your brothers, sisters, father, mother, it is time to forgive. Do not let old baggage bring you down. Otherwise, you will sink. You need to float. Silent, stay silent and float and go with the flow. This is something you've got to understand. Emotional outbursts are going to happen right now. So, how we nurture, how we were nurtured, all these things could suddenly surface. And we can find ourselves confronted with ghosts of the past. All the skeletons in our cupboards come toppling down. So, it's better not to keep skeletons in your cupboard. Literally, air them out or bury them or release them. So as I said, one word, turmoil, and not only in, say, India or Bombay or America or Ukraine, but this time is full of trials and tribulations for all people on earth, in some way or the other. And this turbulence you see through your dasha mahadasha. And it is absolutely super essential for everyone to get their next 6 months transit checked. From Lagna as well as Rashi. This will really help you plan, optimize yourself. Astrology is a tool for you to optimize yourself. To bring out the best potential, to be protected. And when you know, okay, the time is bad, you're not going to go all night drinking and, doing drugs and all that. If you know that, okay, today time is bad, I can get into an accident. What will you do that day if you're sensible? You'll stay at home. You'll maybe do some yoga, maybe do some mantras, maybe watch a film that you really enjoy. If you're stressed out, do something to take the edge off. So, you become aware. Awareness creates a fixed point because you are the conscious observer. Astrology is a tool that helps you observe, to become the observer. Without the observer, infinite possibilities are waves. There is no fixed point. But when you start observing, you create or you carve out that fixed point for yourself. So, definitely the next 6 months is so volatile. It'll be good for you if you can get your next 6 months transit looked at by any astrologer that you trust. And you'll see, if you journal with it, that astrology is it's like, what? Did that just happen? It's astounding. Astounding. So while you get your chart done for the transit, you also keep an astrological journal. So you keep journaling these experiences every day. And writing is actually very therapeutic, especially when you're using a pen or even if you're typing, because you're using your hands. All the planets reside in your hands, all the nakshatras. Your whole body resides in your hands, in your palms. So, this feeling of unrest, instability, turmoil all over the world. And the saddest thing is that people will feel lonely. People will get into relationships or, have sexual relationships with someone just because they are lonely. Loneliness. To combat loneliness. This can be easy sometimes, and the astrology supports it. You can make loneliness turn to aloneness, which can be very pleasurable. But at this time, loneliness becomes amplified. You're unable to find that connection with yourself. So you'll end up feeling lonely. And when you feel lonely, you want to go out, you want to socialize, you want to put yourself out there, and disastrous situations can happen. Or you can get into some kind of, maybe a one night stand and land up with sexually transmitted diseases. So this is not the time to take, or say worse, you become pregnant. And you've not really planned the baby. So this is not the time for all that. No matter how lonely you get. This is why a spiritual practice and a connection to a Devi or a Devata, a deity, is so important. Like, if books are your friends, you can never be lonely. Okay, if you become friends with a deity, then you are never lonely. You can immediately tune in to your Ishtadev or Devi. So this connection now becomes super important for people. Please realize that. And even people who live with family, big houses of many relatives living together, they are going to see a lot of friction. Even if you see that a husband, wife and a kid living together in a nuclear family, you will see friction. Family will bring no happiness, no joy at this time. And we'll see domestic life afflicted. Bad fights, fights for nothing, pregnancies, like I mentioned, womb safety. Because lot of pregnancies will, some other time. I will mention a bit about Shani going Vakri though at the end of this video. So, pregnancies, you have to take a lot of care. If you're trying to get pregnant and you're doing in vitro things, not a good time. You can come up with numerous unsuccessful attempts. So maybe it's a good time to just rest your body, exercise, eat healthy till Mangal moves into Leo, and you can start with your in vitro treatments. Hormonal treatments can go south, really. So be very careful if you are using any kind of hormonal medication. Okay, even medicines clashing with one another, medication conflict. Just be very, very careful with that. Breast problems. Women should get their breasts checked if you feel that there is any concern. You need to get it checked. Alright, go to a doctor you trust. For lactating mothers, this is especially challenging this next month and a half. Be careful with maintaining a correct diet, having foods that can supplement your milk production, staying safe because you can have repeated infections or complications with breast milk, and maybe the infant will not be able to latch on correctly. Things like that can happen. So be careful. Or breast milk drying up and you not being successful in completing the breastfeeding cycle. So things like that can happen. So it's always good if you are a lactating mother to always keep your next 6 months checked out. So okay, this is what I can do. There are mantras and visualizations to help with milk production. So this is something that you have to think about. And also the fact, what I just said, that the nursling will not be able to latch on. So will not be successful in the suckling process. And what are we? We are also children suckling at the breast of Mother Nature. So our inability to latch on to the breast of Mother Nature, where we feel abandoned by the mother, this can be a symbolic motif that pops up. Us as infants and our inability to latch on to the breast of Mother Nature, and Mother Nature is all giving, but suddenly we feel that she's not giving. So toxic mother syndrome at this time, a toxic relationship with the world, with Mother Nature at large, with mothers, grandmothers, things like that, this can happen. Or some kind of, a symbolic interplay between Mangal and Shukra that we see. Definitely make us irritable, because when we are infants, all we want to do is latch on to our mother's breasts. That's it. There is no other impulse or anything that we want that can supersede that particular wanting to suckle. So this, us being like infants and inability to suckle. Dissatisfaction and opening or reopening the mother-grandmother wound, and this can directly impact menstrual cycles, make them more painful, uterine complications, ectopic pregnancies, false pregnancies. So take care of yourself. Now, what is the best way to deal with this feeling of abandonment? Connection. Connection to our children. Connection to our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers. Reliving their lives, even if just for a few moments. Trying to imagine them going through their lives. And saying thank you, because it is because of you that I am here. No matter how much you may hate your grandmother or your ancestors, it's because of them you are here. There are like millions of possibilities, billions of possibilities for all the sperm and the eggs and the permutations. But it was you. So these are things to think about as you experience this irritability, dissatisfaction, feeling of abandonment, loneliness. Mother Nature will be quite rough as well, with earthquakes and volcanoes and tsunamis. So there. And take care on 5th, 6th and 7th of June. These 3 dates, make a note in your diary. 5th, 6th and 7th of June, volatile. Very volatile period, very complicated, individually, collectively. Something big is gonna happen. Something big is gonna happen. Alright, and even if we don't know about it immediately, we will learn about it. In the time frame, we will be, if we follow astrology, we will be able to link it up with the 5th, 6th and 7th. Even if disclosure happens at a later stage. So, and Shukra is also a signifier of luxury, like I told you. So we feel like, no matter how much we spend on the way we look or the way we dress, we will feel dissatisfied. So again, do not make huge cosmetic enhancements. Do not go for a repeated facelift. You do not go to, do Botox or lip plumping sessions. Don't do that right now at all. Work on your skin. Do whatever you need to on your skin, because skin regimen, establishing that is very important. And establish a thorough skin regimen and stick by it. Not longer than 7 to 15 minutes, but stick with it twice a day. First thing you do when you wake up, last thing that you do before you go to sleep. Skin must be absolutely clean before you get on the bed. Bed must be clean. So keep a cover on your bed and then take it off and go to sleep. And you can also make small cutouts of white linen cloth and keep them washed and sanitized, and use one of those rectangular shaped cloths and put them on your pillow and sleep on that, and remove that every day so you don't sleep on the same pillowcase. Skin health is very important right now. Um Also looking after your hair. Mars does signify the head, you know. So hair complications can happen. Marriage, definitely not a time to get married or commit to someone. No. And even if you've been in a long-term relationship and you know you just want to propose and get engaged, don't do it this month. Wait till Mangal moves into Leo. Be smart. So, love related complications. If you're lying, you can get caught. If you're cheating, you can get caught. Over possessiveness, suspiciousness, jealousy, rage, all these things can be seen. Sexual dissatisfaction, inability to have a harmonious sexual relationship with your partner. This can also happen. Now, Mars and its lower vibrations signifies anger, lust, ego, rage. So keep that ego in control, please. Alright, that ego. Do not take action based upon ego. Do not say words that are driven by the ego. So the thing is that as the transit ripens, there is a dissatisfaction that starts between the two planets, right? With Mangal and Shukra starting to dislike one another. And that is when we will see rebellions, terrorism, shootouts, okay, rapes, molestation, all of these things. Be very careful. One country that I see becoming very, very vulnerable and possibly taking certain wrong steps is China. China is definitely up to something, and China will be very volatile. And of course, with Pakistan and the breakdown that's happening, Pakistan will continue to see a complete chaotic time, honestly. Not that, you know, in India things are going to be easy peasy. Things will be challenging, definitely. Very challenging. But I see China going through a lot of turmoil. A lot of turmoil. So, you know, prayers, may there be happiness, bliss, peace, health in all of the world. That's all that I ever pray for. Sarva Mangalam. So if in your prayers you can say that may all people, all animals, fish, plants, may they all be happy, blessed, healthy. Just a few thousand people doing this would bring in a huge change. Changes the urja, mantras change urja, intentions change urja or energy. They bring urja upwards. So just make sure to not act all hot-headed and egocentric, because this can really damage your reputation. Be spiritual, stay hydrated, stay healthy, take your supplements, stay focused, walk every day, but don't go walking off in unknown places. Scout a place with a friend, check out the pros and cons of walking there. Go with a friend if you can, or go in a time when there are people around. Do not put yourself in a vulnerable, tough difficult situation. Rest, I can only warn you, the rest is honestly up to you. 2. Become careful, focused, hydrated, moisturized. Skin can be, like I said, skin problems, even eczema kind of things. Athlete's foot, very possible. Now, Aries, all right, I see a good situation happening for you with all the calculations, because fourth house, I see good money, and for some of you I see fame. Money that has been stuck can come to you at this time. Kanya Rashi, good time. Virgo, luck will be enhanced. So keep yourself open, keep yourself receptive to receive the abundance that is coming in your life. Virgo or Kanya Rashi. Now we've got Meen Rashi, 5th house. Sudden unexpected windfalls, sudden money, sudden good luck, sudden wealth enhancement for Pisces. Kumbh Rashi, Aquarius, 6th house. So definitely see some kind of promotions at work, acknowledgement by your superiors, hidden enemies if you've had, and you have them, right? So hidden enemies may suddenly become friends. Hidden enemies may give up. Hidden enemies may change their agenda. Say they come to know you and they hated you without really knowing you. So that energy can suddenly shift and you can find yourself like, wow, how did that happen? How did that just solve itself? But it did. Now, iffy scenarios, Leo, Simha Rashi, Simha Rashi guys, 12th house, possibilities of addiction. Taurus, 3rd house, so stay away from complications with your brothers and sisters. If you're traveling somewhere, be very careful. Guru Chandal is in your 12th, so be very careful just generally with your neighbors. Take out your trash in time. Don't let your neighbors complain. Don't play loud music. Don't have wild orgies in your house. All right. Gemini, your sense of worth. You can find yourself questioning your relationships, and sun can give complications. Your wealth, how do you feel about your money? X. Cancer, 1st house, who you are, your psychological makeup, your ideologies, right? Take care of your health, Cancer, please. Leo, I already mentioned, not a good time to get addicted. If you get addicted at this point, it's going to get complicated. Let's just say that. Libra, be very careful about your social status. I mean, you are careful, but suddenly something could happen that could damage it. So there. Scorpio, maybe if you applied for university and you don't get it the first time, or some higher studies that you were planning, but somehow it doesn't happen, don't give up hope. Something good is coming your way. But if you experience a sudden setback with regards to, say, a visa or something like that, not a time to panic. It's okay. People with books looking to publish, if you're looking for self-publishing and you just suddenly do it right now, may not be the best thing to do. Wait it out again, I'll tell you that. Sagittarius, please make sure your taxes are clean, you're clean, all the paperwork is done, T's are crossed, I's are dotted. Make sure of that. okay, and there could be a sudden news uh, of a death, okay, could be a friend, and it's going to affect you. It's going to show you a different side to life. Sagittarius. Capricorn, be very careful with your spouse. Not a time to, push your agendas or act all haughty-taughty and, sit on your high horse and dictate down to them. It, it may not work out right now. So lay low. Even if you feel like, oh my God, my spouse is driving me mad, I don't know what to do, it's okay. Just be by their side. And if you've had any kind of indiscretions in the past, this is a time that it may come to light. And your wife may find out. And this could create a lot of complications. So Shani is going Vakri, right, in June 17th if I'm not mistaken. And this is going to possibly be a time of great rest and, a time when people like me who are experiencing Sade Sati, the middle period of Sade Sati, even if you are experiencing the beginning or the ending, the setting, you will feel relieved, like, okay, like a heavy load has been removed. And this is happening from now to November. June to November, Shani is Vakri or retrograde. And the thing with Shani being Vakri right now, it's going to bring in a time of timelessness. Okay, or time dilation with meditation. Shani is meditation, abstract thinking. Our ability to go deeper into meditation can actually be revealed by Shani positions. So how we meditate and how we perceive time and I can't read that, the comment just went. So time dilation is going to be very interesting. Now, how, time operates everywhere differently in the universe. Okay, and Shani, the planet that holds the principles of, constriction, restriction, dharma. In every solar system, there is a planet that holds the energies of Shani. In every multiverse, in every system. Hard work, dedication, righteousness. So all of this, that the energies that Shani holds and the connection to time, Kal, because time is finite for us. We don't live in an infinite world of time. We are here set number of years to do what we have to do, and then our time is up. So the way time moves on earth and the way time moves, say right in the somewhere near the middle of the Milky Way, where we have the Sagittarius A black hole. So the way time moves near a black hole is completely different. This is time dilation. So with Shani going a Vakri in his Mool Trikon sign, it's indeed a good thing, because this is gonna show us that how time is not a constant, how we can work through time and what time means to us, and the abstract implications of time. So again, Aquarius is abstract thinking, and Saturn is also abstract thinking, and other dimensions. So all of this is gonna be heightened. Crows and dogs, especially if they're black dogs, should be fed. Now, before I go, I'll tell you the story of the first time traveler. The first time traveler in this Manvantara was someone called Kag Bhushandi. Kag, no. Kagbhushandi was a crow, like a crow being, okay, a corvid being. Relax. You know, crows come from the species corvids, where we have crows, ravens, magpies. All these guys are from the corvid family. So, Kagbhushandi was cursed, and then he was the one person, and he became friends with Garuda. Garuda being the bird on which Vishnu used to travel. So Garuda learned the secrets of time dilation from Kagbhushandi. And Kagbhushandi was one such being who saw the beginning of the universe, or what scientists are now calling the Big Bang. He saw how that, you know, in that very minuscule period of time, that expansion took place, and the universe expanded into an infinitely large structure. So Kagbhushandi saw the bang, the Big Bang, the cosmic inflation, the coming together of stellar matter, the birthing of the stars and the stellar nurseries, quasars, gamma rays, pulsars, neutron stars, all of this. And Kagbhushandi actually has conquered time. That's why crows are connected to Saturn. And Kagbhushandi being a crow being, from the corvid species. So it's very interesting, the story of Kagbhushandi, and how he could see through the beginning and the ending of time, how he saw Mahapralaya. So these really interesting stories are there in the Puranas, tons and tons of really interesting stories. Like I told you that our ancients knew about the multiverses, right? Once when in Treta Yuga, when Rama was ready to give up his life, his incarnation, Dehatyag, he knew that Hanuman would not allow him to give up his life. Rama knew that Hanuman would not allow it. So what he did was he made a crack in the in some place in a forest or in the palace, I'm forgetting, but he made a crack in the ground, and the crack was tiny. And what Rama did was he slipped his gold ring, and it fell till he couldn't see it anymore. It had disappeared. So he calls Hanuman and he says that, look, I've lost my gold ring, and I need you to go and find it. So Hanumanji could become as huge as the galaxy and as small as an atom. So he became teeny tiny, and he went down, 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 till he came face to face with Vasuki, the Nagdev, Sheshnag, upon whom Vishnu slumbers during Pralaya. So Sheshnag was there, and yes, so for Aquarius people, now is the time to truly know themselves, and pranayam, tratak, mantra, all of that. So anyway, back to the story, that as Rama drops that and Hanuman becomes minuscule, and he goes in, and he sees Sheshnag. So he says that, look, Sheshnag, I am here to retrieve the ring of Lord Ram. So Sheshnag says, all right, go there and retrieve the ring. So Hanuman leaves to, and as he walks towards that place, he sees in the darkness that there is a mountain, but it was sparkling. So he was like, wow, a Swarna, a mountain, a golden mountain down here. But as he comes near, he realizes that the mountain is full of golden rings. And they all look the same. They all appear to be Lord Rama's rings. So there he is confused. Who wouldn't be? So then he goes to Sheshnag and he says, what is this mystery? How can there be a mountain of the same rings? So Sheshnag says that at the end of every Treta Yuga, from every multiverse, from every universe in the multiversal structure, Lord Rama throws a ring down here so as to send you down here so he can do Dehatyag or leave his body. So that is when Hanuman realizes that our reality is not the only reality, but there are infinite parallel worlds out there with different Ramas and different Hanumans. Just the karma may be a little different, And the scientists are echoing the very same things right now. That if you travel through infinite time, there will come a moment when you will find an exact copy of yourself. And the details may be a little different. For instance, in that universe, you may decide to swipe away from this video and not subscribe. But maybe in this universe you have subscribed and you watch me regularly. Right? Just subtle differences. Maybe in this universe you ate khichdi. But in that universe you had eggs and bread. Simple. Maybe you don't have a dog in that universe and you have one here. Or maybe you have a dog there and you don't have one here. So these teachings have been prevalent in Sanatana Dharma since time immemorial. Because Sanatana Dharma is not just a religion, it's a way of life. And it is a religion that is at the base, that has given knowledge to all the religions. That has been the base of every religion. And that has existed before this Manvantara was formed and will exist after everything is destroyed and another sequence of multiverses are created again. So the Sanatani flow of knowledge is forever. You are a Sanatani, actually. We are all Sanatanis. So the multiverse and the earth was a sphere. All of this has already been detailed in the stories, the scriptures of Sanatana Dharma, which is the eternal law. And with that, I will end because this has already become too long. I wanted to keep it short and sweet, but then I got talking and the rest. So get your 6 months transit looked at for sure. If you want to book oh wow, thank you. So if you want your transit chart made, drop me an email. Very, very good time as this Guru Chandal is becoming exact on the 27th. Something big is happening on the 27th. Mark my words, something big. And a very good day to get Ganpati Puja, in fact, on the 27th. And I'm doing a group puja for all concerned. So drop me an email if you are interested in my group puja of Uchishta Ganpati, where he will, have Tarpan, Abhishekam, Kavach recitation 12 times. All of that energy will be sent to you. So exactly the time when Rahu and Jupiter are conjunct and the Guru Chandal Yoga is at its peak. I will do this puja for all involved. Now, if you want to be a part of my puja, drop me an email. Easy peasy donation, very cheap, $11. So, drop me an email. And if you want next 6 months, drop me an email. And if you want specific pujas or remedies or things like that done for you, or if you want to be initiated in any of the vidyas like the Dasha Mahavidyas or yoginis. Yoginis, I told you, if you have not watched my video on the yoginis, don't waste time. Watch it now and see how the 64 yoginis have started their samhar kriya and how it becomes absolutely mandatory to invoke the yoginis. I have a WhatsApp course on the yoginis. Each lesson is $11. You get an image, you get mantra, you get meditation. If you're interested to join that, then drop me an email again or text me on my mobile number +917030258060. Now please only message me if you want to book a reading or if you want to be a part of the group puja I'm doing for Guru Chandal Peak. But I'm getting too many messages that are absolutely nonsensical. Please refrain from sending random messages. I will not reply, and I may even block you if you keep on sending me messages. Please, if you want to book a reading, if you want to book a puja with me, if you want to book a workshop, great. Or even the yantra workshop is on, the yakshani workshop is yakshani workshops are on, yogini workshops are on. And not to forget my ongoing tarot workshop, 78 cards explained, one card a day. So yeah, that was all, and hope to see you soon. Bye, take care.